One more plane coming in and then we're going to get started. Here she comes. Nice, huh? All right. Coming in and going live. All right. So, we're going to talk about the 3 Ds of leadership. I'm going to get away from a bit more of the noise. Go over here. Hopefully get to a place where I'm not in the black. You can actually see me. That would be nice. All right. We're going to talk about the 3 Ds of leadership. Why they're important and why leadership is not just for CEOs. It's for all of us. When we think about being a leader, we tend to think about people in very high positions, CEOs, presidents, managers, you know, whatever it is. We tend to think of people being in these roles. But I want to put it to you that leadership is something that is actually very personal. In fact, that all real leadership starts with leading yourself. And until you can lead yourself, you're not really able to lead anybody else. I'm just taking a bit of a sniff in here. This is Vancouver, and there's always a smell of a rather pungent skunk around, if you know what I mean. There's always a bit of a smell of the wacky weed. It's everywhere in Vancouver. Oh, look at that, I can see my breath. That is scary. I can see my breath. Oh my goodness. I see, said the blind man, indeed. All right, so leadership, not just for CEOs, it's for all of us. So what are the 3 Ds of leadership? Why do you need them? And why should you even bother embracing them? As you know, I write and speak a lot about leadership. And one of the things about that, for me, is how often I will be having a conversation with somebody, you know, casually meeting them, and they really don't think that leadership applies to them. That's not really their thing. They don't have a role where they are designated a leader, so they don't see themselves as needing leadership training. And the truth of the matter is, if you want to live a very mediocre life, if you're willing to settle in somewhere, if you're willing to just be passive in your life, then you're right. You don't need any leadership training whatsoever. I've probably got absolutely nothing to offer you, and you can actually turn off this right now and go somewhere else. However, if you are inspired to, or drawn to, or driven to have things be somehow better than they were in some way, shape, or form, if there's a system that you don't like, if there's a behavior or a societal thing that goes on that just bugs the shit out of you, then I'm suggesting to you that you might want to really take a look at leadership and your own leadership training and your own leadership development as a human being, and how important that can be for all of us. So let's take a look at what I mean. So when we become a leader, let me just see if I can get some light on me. Oh, okay. When we become a leader in anything, it's not just about leading others, it's about leading ourselves. So what are we leading ourselves from or to? I'd suggest to you that leadership comes about first and foremost with the first of the Ds. The first of the Ds, which is dissatisfaction. That there's something that you see, there's something that's going on that you're dissatisfied with, that you are maybe more than dissatisfied, maybe pissed off with. And I think that to be a leader, you need to have really good access to your ability to get in touch with your own dissatisfaction. You know, we talk a lot about, you and I, oops, sorry, I dropped something there. You and I, people on social media, YouTube, whatever it is, talk a lot about passion and the importance of passion. But what is passion? At its core, passion is about fire, that fire within us. And if you're afraid of your anger, if you're not willing to go to the place of getting in touch with what it is that pisses you off, you'll never be in touch with your anger. You can't fully get in touch with that. You've got to be able to really dig into that. Thanks for the smart ass comments, Lisa. Yeah. It is not donuts, diapers, and dog shit. That is not the 3Ds. The first of the 3Ds is dissatisfaction. So you've got to find, in order to be a leader, you have to know something that you're dissatisfied with, something that is not right, that you are willing to get upset enough about to want it to be different. So let me ask you right now, what is it that you're dissatisfied with? I'm actually going to ask you to tell me, what is it that you're dissatisfied with? What is it that you want to change? What is it you would want to change? Come on, tell me, what is it that you're dissatisfied with? What is it that you are wanting to change? Put it down, like type it into the comments here. Tell me what it is that you're dissatisfied with. What is it that you want to change? What is it that you'd like to see shift? That it's not okay the way it is. I'm going to wait for you. You know, at least one or two of you. Give me a couple of things here. Tell me what it is that you're dissatisfied with. It's the first of the D's. And really, if you're going to lead yourself or others, and this is key, you've got to decide what it is that you're dissatisfied with. So, death penalty. Okay. You're dissatisfied with that. My ineffective wiring, Richard says. Superficial fake mentors. Yeah, definitely dissatisfied with those. The prison system in total. Definitely, that's something to be dissatisfied with. My negative thinking, somebody else says. Good. These are great. Keep them going. All these different things that we're dissatisfied with. Listen. Leaders are about change. If you are going to be a leader, whether it's in your own life or in the lives of others, then you've got to be looking at what it is you want to change. There has to be that sense of dissatisfaction with the status quo, with the way things are. And so you've got to have that fire, you've got to have that passion within you, you've got to have that something that you want to change, you want to shift. And whether that is the prison system, which personally I think is disgusting, whether it's the prison system, whether it's the U.S. political system, as Ed wrote, or if you're dissatisfied with the medical approach to dealing with cancer, that's another great one, thank you, Kat. Whatever it is that you're dissatisfied with actually gives you this great opportunity to truly become a leader. Because the people who change the world are the ones who are actually dissatisfied. The ones who are real leaders are dissatisfied. Mahatma Gandhi was not happy with the British being there in India and ruling India. It was his deep dissatisfaction with that situation that allowed him to become the father of modern India and change the system. Martin Luther King was dissatisfied with the civil rights, or the lack of civil rights, in the United States. And because of him, the civil rights movement came about. It is this deep dissatisfaction that is the important first D of becoming a leader in your own life or in the lives of others. Okay, so look at what you're dissatisfied with, because that's the place where you're going to tap into the power and the passion that you need to find in order to change things. Because in order to get to the next two Ds, you first have to know what it is. And so what we talk about in some of my work, when I work with organizations, even when I work with individuals, and train them how to develop a really powerful, what we call a powerful full Monty story, one of the first things we're asking is, who is the enemy? You've got to decide who the enemy is. You've got to decide who it is you're going after, or what it is you're going after. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be a situation. It can be a system, like the prison system. It can be something like that. You have to decide what it is that you are dissatisfied with and where you're going to find that level of passion that you need in order to make things happen. Okay? So your first D is dissatisfaction, because that's the key to really tapping into your passion, your power, and really making things shift. So it's your first D, is dissatisfaction. Now, here's the cool thing about it. Once you've got that first D, the dissatisfaction, then you're going to have to develop the second D. Now, remember I said the first D is about the status quo, as having things be the way they are. So you will have to develop the second D, and the second D is to become delusional. Delusional. Yeah, I know it sounds like a crazy word to say, but the second D of leadership is delusional. You have to become delusional, because everybody around you will tell you the system can't be changed, and that it's delusional of you to consider that it could. I mean, the idea that you could get rid of the British out of India was delusional. Mahatma Gandhi was delusional at the idea that the British were going to leave. It was just never going to happen. In fact, he was told it's never going to happen. The fact that the African American people in the United States were going to get civil rights, just incredibly delusional idea. Think about anything that has changed the world. It started off by somebody having a delusional idea. Let's think about JFK, and that we went to the moon. We took a rocket to the moon. That was a completely delusional idea. They did not have the science to get there when he announced that's what we're going to do. So the first thing you've got to have is the dissatisfaction. So there's something you're pissed off about, something that you want to change. You've got to get in touch with the fire, the anger, the passion to want to change it. The second one is that you've got to become delusional enough to believe that it can be changed. And what that means is you have to become a visionary. So great leaders are visionary. You've got to create a picture, an image inside of your head that is so powerful, so compelling, that you can actually condition your own mind and then the minds of others to the possibility. So you've got to create the delusion that you've got to create a vision that comes out of your delusion. This is vitally important to you, that you generate this vision that comes out about it. And Lisa just wrote, I'm 100% delusional. That is, this is crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it is vital to your success as a leader, whether that's as a leader individually, as a human being, or whether that's the leader of others. So the second thing you need to do is you need to develop this sense of being delusional, become a visionary. And you've got to become relentless in that vision, which means, one of the things I posted on Facebook recently was, I said, tell me what it is that you're obsessed with, and tell me what it is that you think I'm obsessed with. And I guess most people thought that was a pretty light little post, but it actually isn't. It's what I want to know is, what is it that you're delusional about? What is it that you're obsessed with? Tells me that there's an image, there's a vision of something that you're working towards that is bigger than yourself, and bigger than the status quo, and bigger than most of the people around you will ever tell you is possible. Right? So this is it. So you've got to have, first of all, dissatisfaction, the passion, the power, the anger, the frustration, whatever it takes, and then the delusion of creating a vision and becoming relentless, becoming obsessed with the fulfillment of that delusional idea. Got it? So those are the first two. The third one is this, and this is vital. And this is where most people fall down. So some people are pissed off about things, and they like to moan and complain, and they'll post on Facebook that they're pissed off about this thing, and it needs to be changed. We've got to change the prison system. We've got to change the political system. We've got to change whatever it might be. Absolutely. Yeah, great, good idea. All right, now, what are you going to do about it? Because posting something on Facebook, really doesn't change much. Might raise a little bit of awareness, but it isn't actually going to change something. Are you willing to get passionate enough to actually get out there and do something about it? That's a whole different gig, right? So, yeah, you're dissatisfied, but what is going to be the action? What's going to be the action that you're going to take in order to do that? Are you delusional enough to create a vision and to be able to actually impact other people and bring them in on this idea? Like, get them with you, get them to play the game with you at a higher level. Are you willing to become so absolutely obsessed with this that you're willing to bring it into reality? Is that what you're willing to do? Because that is vital if you're going to make things happen. Okay? So, number one, okay, dissatisfaction. Number two, delusional. Number three, disruptive. You have got to be willing to be disruptive. And as I said, this is where most people drop the ball. They're not willing to be disruptive, because if you're disruptive, you are going to feel the backlash. You see, it's one thing to say that you're upset about something and have people disagree with you. It's one thing to say that you have this vision and you're even getting convinced about it and that you're maybe a little bit obsessed with it. But being disruptive means that you're gonna be willing to piss a few people off, and maybe the people who are closest to you. Right? Are you willing to actually be disruptive? I mean, think about everybody who's made a difference in the world. Everybody who's made a change has gone through these 3 Ds, and they are willing to be disruptive. They are willing to stand up and face everybody who says it can't be done, and they are willing to come up with a system, a way of doing it that is different. For instance, some of you know I'm going to be doing a 12-hour broadcast, 12 hours of this, Facebook Live, 12 live hours, answering all of your questions on leadership. Now, why am I doing it? Well, I want you to get the answers, but I want to tell you why I'm doing it. Because I have become really dissatisfied with the world of leadership speakers, as in keynote speaking. I think it's crap. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with being part of it. And I'm just like, and I've been pissed off with it for quite a while, like a couple of years thinking about it. And I decided, okay, I'm fed up with this. Things have to change. Okay, how are they going to change? Well, I became quite obsessed with trying to work out how to make it different. And it was fine that I was pissed about it. It's fine that I was having conversations about it. It's fine that I was saying I was fed up with it. But what was my vision? And I didn't really have one. I was like, I just knew I was dissatisfied first. Then I had to create this idea. What would it look like? And I had to ask enough questions to really find out what it would look like. Meaning, I had to really find out, what is it that people actually want? When a meeting planner books a speaker, what do they really want? Do they want somebody who's going to, rah-rah the people? Well, sometimes a meeting planner does want that. They do want a motivational speaker, and that's fine. That's okay if that's what you want. But if you want something of substance, if you want to make something that makes a huge difference in the people in the audience's lives, in the leaders that I'm speaking to, you probably want a little bit more than a rah-rah. So I began to create this idea, this vision, that I could actually serve people when delivering a keynote presentation. I could serve them with the same level of power that I can serve when I work one-on-one with one of the leaders that I work with. And that was like, wow, how do I do that? Like, that's incredible, because sometimes I'm speaking to thousands of people. How do I do that? How do I get to actually serve at that massive level? So I had to create a vision of how I would do that. Not only had to create the vision, but then I had to decide, okay, this is going to be pretty disruptive. I'm going to end up pissing off a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers in the industry are going to be pretty upset about what I'm going to be saying about keynote speaking and how it's a waste of time. It's just like, that's going to be too, I'm going to come up against some backlash. Now, some of you are putting questions on here. I'm actually going to come back to you and answer the questions in a bit. So I had to decide. I was dissatisfied with the keynote speaking world. One. I had to decide that I had to create a vision of something that was bigger, different, that was going to be, that I had to get delusional about, that people are saying, well, you can't do it. I mean, listen, the keynote speaking world has been the same way for the last, well, effectively 100 years, but, business-wise, for certainly the last 40 years. How you're going to do that, that's not possible, you can't do it. I was constantly told that. And then I had to decide that I was going to be disruptive. I'm going to really disrupt the industry and create a different system. And the system is based on the very same thing as I'm doing the 12-hour thing, and that is the 12-hour marathon broadcast. And that is answering questions, so that you get what you want, rather than me just deciding what I think you should want, but actually giving you what you want. So you can't do, so this is the important thing about the disruptive piece. If you're going to be a leader, you've got to embrace the disruption, because you've got to be willing to, great leaders are masters of conflict. You've got to be willing to face conflict, deal with conflict. Because to get into that third D of being a leader, disruptive, it means you will have to conflict with some people. You're going to upset people. And if you want to find out when the 12-hour marathon is, the 12-hour marathon is going to be right here on Facebook, and it's going to be on October the 19th. And if you want to find out more about it and the details of it, simply go to Dov Baron Leadership. Go to Dov Baron Leadership, and then click on the like the page, and then turn on the notifications. And on the left there, right over on that left there, you will see that there is a event. Click on that, and you'll see it'll show you that. Otherwise, you can simply put into your Facebook search bar, put in "kill the keynote" as one word. Kill the keynote. Kill the keynote, and it will take you to that page, and then you can click on that, and it will notify you when we're actually broadcasting and all the details, and keep you in the loop. All right, so that's what I'm recommending to you. So let's go back to what I'm saying here. 3 Ds of leadership. Leadership is not, absolutely not, just for CEOs. It is for anybody who wants to make a difference. And if you have something that you are dissatisfied, then you are already on the path to leadership. If there's something, if you're willing to step outside of the status quo, if you're willing to challenge the status quo, okay, you have got to embrace becoming a leader. And what that means is these 3 Ds. Number one, as I said, you've got to decide what it is you're dissatisfied with, and are you dissatisfied enough? I mean, you know, you're not just a bit fed up with waiting in line, but you actually like, this has to freaking change. I'm not just not willing to put up with this, right? I'm totally dissatisfied. Then you become delusional about some idea. I mean, think about it. I'm talking to you right now on a freaking phone. This is a phone. I am broadcasting like NBC using a phone. I mean, when I say like NBC, I mean, think about that. It's not that long ago that you thought about people doing an outside broadcast. You know, we had to have the cameras, we had to have the lights, we had to have a feed link to NBC or to CNN or whoever it was. I'm doing this to you with my phone. That somebody was delusional, whether that was Zuckerberg or Zuckerberg's team, whoever it was, had to have this idea, this vision, and that was so outrageous, and they had to be delusional about it. Because, I mean, think about, you know, the idea of how much storage Facebook has to hold all these videos and all this stuff that's going out every single day, right? Crazy idea, delusional idea, never going to happen, not possible, except that it is, right? We're doing it right now, you and I, right now, we're doing this. This is the key that I'm trying to get you to see, is that you've got to create a vision that's far beyond anything that anybody else can grasp. In fact, they should think you're a bit nuts. And if they don't think you're a bit nuts, you're probably not visioning big enough yet. So you've got to get like really get up. So first thing is that dissatisfaction, which is the pissosity, and then you funnel that, you transmute that into a higher form, and the higher form is the passion that goes into creating this delusional vision of what could be and how it could be. And from there, you step into the third position, which is the disruption of actively doing something, actively creating some kind of system, doing something that is beyond what actually exists, and being willing to face the conflict of maybe potentially upsetting other people who are doing it the old way, because the disruption is about messing with the status quo. And if you want to think of them, there's a million examples. The obvious ones are things like Uber, You know, goodbye taxi cab, right? Uber, whatever it is, you know, whether it's Airbnb, hotels are in trouble. There's all kinds of ways. You got to think about how you can disrupt. So how are you going to disrupt the system? So number one, what are you dissatisfied with? Number two, what are you delusional about? And number three, are you willing to be disruptive? Those are the 3 Ds of leadership. For you, for me, for all of us. Those are the 3 Ds of leadership. And remember, leadership is not just for CEOs, it's for any single one of us who want to make a difference in the world. In fact, that leadership is first and foremost about leading yourself, so leading up in order to lead others, but to lead yourself from the place of self-knowledge and passion about what it is that you're not willing to put up with anymore, what you're dissatisfied with. All right. Tell me if this has been valuable to you. Tell me if this has been useful to you. Tell me if you're going to use it. I want to hear from you. Meanwhile, I'm going to look over some of your questions, some of your comments, and see what it is that you put. Please give me the thumbs up if this has been useful to you. Give me the hearts or the kisses or whatever it is. If you found this valuable and useful to you, click on that. Send it to me. Let me know. I want to know if you found this valuable. Thank you, Lisa, for letting me know. Okay, let's have a look. Lisa said she's 100% delusional. I fully agree with that, and that's great. Thanks, Kat. Yeah, good stuff. On another level, Richard says dissatisfaction with a set-in-stone principle. I cannot accept that wealth, knowledge, and happiness are available to a pitiful few. Fantastic. Glad to hear that. I agree with you fully. It's not, but you've got to create a disruption enough to make it happen. Definitely. Lisa says getting out my feelings flashcards. Fantastic. Good for you, girl. Kat says most people thought I was delusional when I opted not to have surgery or chemotherapy. Fantastic. Good for you. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, you know, these are really cool. Bravo. Let's have a look. When is the 12-hour talk? Zachary says, I think you've got that info now, Zachary. Like I said, just search Kill the Keynote on Facebook and you'll find it. You'll find the page there and the link on it. And actually, if you go to Dov Baron and scroll down on Dov Baron on Facebook, you'll see that there's a link and you can join the Thunderclap crowd, which will actually let you know and let your friends know when the broadcast is too. Let's have a look. What else is going on here? Lisa says that my marathon will be taking place in Washington, D.C. Dove has an ironclad security detail. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Laura says, yes, valuable and very useful, very good. Ed says, valuable. Good to see you, Ed. Nice to have you on with us here. Laura says, it's very difficult to step outside of our comfort zones, but it's essential. It is, absolutely, absolutely. It is difficult to step out of our comfort zone. That's why it's called a comfort zone, right? It's comfortable, but nothing changes in your comfort zone. Everything that you desire, everything that will change your life is outside of your comfort zone. And, you know, Ed's just put down here, the 4th D is deserve. You know, I don't know that that's what it is to be a leader. I don't know that you have to feel like you deserve it. Is deserving useful and powerful? Absolutely. But sometimes, you know, the people who change the world, they don't feel like they deserve it. But they're pissed off enough, they're fed up enough, they're dissatisfied enough to take some kind of action to do something. However, the deserving piece, as Ed puts in there, it's important, does come up when you're doing the vision, when you're getting into the delusional part, because you are going to get challenged and people are going to say you're a nutter for coming up with the idea. So yes, deserving is important in that 2nd D. It's a supporter of the 2nd D, which is the delusion, and it's definitely a supporter of the 3rd D. In order to be disruptive, you've got to decide that not only do you deserve it, but that the idea deserves it, that the system that you're impacting deserves the change, deserves the shift. So thanks, Ed. Yes, absolutely. Deserving fits very nicely there. Absolutely. And Richard said, always inspiring to hear your take. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. All right, guys, that's about it for tonight. And I'm going to call it quits and go home and visit with my beautiful bride. Again, please give me the thumbs up, send me the hearts, do all those things if you find it valuable. And as always, you know what? Please share. If you thought this was useful and valuable, share it with others. You know, don't be greedy. Don't hoard it. Share the good stuff. You know, we've got to share the wealth, my friends. We've got to share the wealth. So share the wealth of this with other people. Let other people know about it. Share it on your page so other people can have it and see it and get value from it and maybe make a difference in some other people's lives. Listen, the world needs more leaders. We've all got to be better leaders in our own lives, in the lives of our children, in our lives of our partners, in everyone we want. Open invite to always share on my page. Thank you, Lisa. Please go ahead, share it yourselves, each one of you. Just when it's done, click share, boom, and post it to your own page. Share it to anybody else that adds value. That's what we're all about here. We're about doing that. And again, like I said, we're going to have the marathon coming up very soon. The marathon is going to come up on October 19th, and you can find out about that by simply putting into Facebook, in the search bar there, put into Facebook, Kill the Keynote. Kill the Keynote into Facebook, and you'll find out more. And as always, you can catch more of my videos on YouTube, of course, and you can find out about my blog with all the articles that are on there, which is at fullmontyleadership.com. And I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm all those kinds of places. So check me out, folks. All right, I'm out. I hope you've had a great time. I hope this has been valuable to you. Until next time, this is Dov Baron saying, stay curious, my friends. Stay curious about how you can tap into being a greater leader in each of the 3 Ds. Dissatisfaction, delusion, and disruption. All sprinkled, as Ed says, with a good amount of deserving. All right, folks. Till next time, Dov Baron, and I am out.